What's up, guys? This is Doug with Basement Level Magic. We are back for another Battle for Zendikar Swiss draft. We just opened Ally Encampment. It's not really something I want to pick, but it is a pretty good card if you're already in the Ally deck. I think probably our best pick here, Tide Drifter is quite good, and I would consider that. And the Valakut Invoker has actually played very well for me lately. Shadow Glider is a good card. I think Stone Fury is just the pick here. So I'll go ahead and take that. And in this pack we have kind of similar type options. Lithomancer's Focus is a good combat trick. Cinderglade is good if you're in red-green. Beastmaster is a good card, but I would only take it if I was already in green or in allies. Clutch of Currents is the best card in the pack, so I think that's probably where we want to be. Cloudmant is also good. I don't think we'll see it wheeling. And if Cloud Manta doesn't wheel, Skyline Cascade is still a playable card in blue, so we'll look to pick that up on the way back. Here we have not a lot. Horribly Awry is probably the pick. Boiling Earth is a pretty good card as well. Skyline Cascade, like I just said in the last pack, is a good card and a fine pickup, but I would only want to take it if there was nothing else. And Horribly Awry allows us to counter something, and it also allows us to exile, so if we do end up in a devoid strategy, that can be good. Aligned Hedron Network is not something I typically pick up at all. Transgress is a good card. Reclaimer is a very good card, and I think probably in this particular instance we just want to take the Reclaimer. If I was in green, Snapping Gnarlid is good, and Fertile Thicket is always good. There's another Boiling Earth, so that's something to note. If Transgress the Mind comes back around, we might consider not being in red or possibly splashing black for something like that. This is a second Retreat to Hogger we've seen, but good choices in our colors include Stone Fury. Anticipate is a pickup that we wouldn't mind as well. Smite the Monstrous is a pretty good card, although it's fairly early and we're not at all in white, and I'd probably pick the Shadow Glider before I picked the Smite the Monstrous. So Stone Fury here is the pickup. I'm happy to play several of those. Here we have an easy pick. Snapping Gnarlid is good, and we've already passed one. Green is probably closed to us now, unless for some reason they both come back around. Nettle Drone is, however, an excellent pickup for the shell we've got going so far. So we have three very good blue cards, and then we have three very good red cards. So I think the Kozilek Sentinel is probably where we want to be. I would be happy to pick up a Ruin Processor at some point, but probably not this early. There's excellent green going by again, so whoever's in green is going to get rewarded, but it won't be us. Here we have a choice between a Kozilek's Channeler, which is good in basically every deck, and a Valakut Predator, which gives you a little aggression and a 4/4 attacker. And it requires landfall. So it is a 3-drop, but the Kozilek's Channeler is already a 4-drop and attacks as a 4/4. So I think that's a safer pickup here. Belligerent Whiptail's okay filler card. It's not something I generally want. So I think, yeah, the Channeler is a good place to be. Even if it's a hedge and it doesn't end up in the deck, it's still a good card. Here we can't really take anything for our deck. I think the best card here is either probably Brood Monitor or maybe a Swarm Surge. So I'll take the Brood Monitor. If for some reason we open like an Ulamog in the second pack and we want to go rampy, we still have the ability to do so if we have a Brood Monitor or maybe a couple others. Skyline Cascade, we were hoping it wheeled and it did, so we'll definitely plan to play that. We'll see what the rest of this pack has for us. 8 cards, 8 playable cards so far is not bad at all. 4 creatures, 4 non-creature spells. And really some excellent removal. And a good counterspell. So very, very good there. So let's say for some reason blue dried up completely and we weren't able to get any blue in the second pack. It's conceivable that we could end up in green instead. I already have a Skyline Cascade, and while I think they're good, I don't want to take too many come into play tapped lands if I can help it. as it'll just slow us down. So I'll take the Plated Crusher. At the very least, we got it out of the way. I'm a little surprised to see it here. It is one of the reasons to play green. It comes down quite a bit earlier if you're playing a Brood Monitor. Nothing here for our deck. Probably the best card, which is sad to say, is the Geyserfield Stalker, so we'll take that out. Dutiful Return has its place, but not in this deck. Anticipate, I think we might even play it. Card draw doesn't hurt anything. Alright, our second Geyserfield Stalker on island. I'll take the island. If someone wants to be in black and play that card, go right ahead. Sort of the worst of the landfall creatures. It does attack as a 5/4, but costs 5 mana to play. Whereas the red and green versions are quite a bit cheaper and attack almost the same. So I think we have a pretty good shell for a blue-red kind of devoid deck. We would like to pick up at least one Eldrazi. I would even take another Kozilek's Channeler. I would take any more Nettle Drones that I saw. I would take any more Clutch of Currents. Anticipate is a card that I will definitely consider playing, but it is not by any means guaranteed to be in the deck. Touch of Void, however, is an excellent card. There is a Kozilek's Channeler. There's a Stasis Snare, so we've got to keep that in mind. Shambling Vent is also a good card, but unfortunately just in 2 colors we're not in. If it was just in one of the colors I wasn't in, I would consider splashing. Spawning Bed will be good if it comes back around, but I think Touch of the Void's the pick. Kozilek's Channeler or Merc Strider we'd be happy to get. I would take some more Touch of the Void as well. We are a little creature light though. We need to start prioritizing creatures if we can. So this is a tough pack. So I want to prioritize creatures. An Incubator Drone would be a good pickup. We already have a Ulamog's Reclaimer, but if we are going to play a bunch of spells, it'd be nice if we could get them back. There's a Devastator here. I would rather play something like the Ruin Processor if I could, something with a little more upside. And Molten Nursery actually looks like in this deck it's going to be pretty decent. So we'll look for that to wheel. I'm hesitant to pick up a second Reclaimer, but it is very good. Tightening Coils would be an excellent pickup. An Incubator Drone sort of solves our creature problem by creating 2 of them for 4 mana. So that would be nice too, but I think the Reclaimer is just the most powerful of the cards here, and it blocks well. So we'll be looking to create some more upside here. Mist Intruder would be a good pickup. Stonewaker would be a good pickup. I think probably this is not the aggressive shell that a Stonewaker would go into. I think we're probably looking for something more like the Mist Intruder. The Evolving Wilds is also a good pickup. So I think the Mist Intruder, because of our lack of creatures, is probably where we want to be. Here we have Coral Home Guide versus Shatterskull Recruit. It looks like white's pretty open right now. I don't see any way to get out of red. The red is just too good. And then, what am I really looking at in blue? The Clutch of Currents I want to play for sure. I kind of want to play one Reclaimer for sure. Horribly Arise, a decent card, and I don't mind playing that. Mist Intruder's decent. But I don't know if we can turn this deck into an aggressive deck at this point. Coralhelm Guy's okay. But we don't have like a big body we're trying to push through, at least at this point. So I'm tempted to just hedge a bit and take the Courier Griffin. Second Stonewaker. So we have a choice here, Kozilek Sentinel versus Rune Processor. I think the Sentinel is probably the pickup. I do want a Rune Processor. I think we're going to see more. Or we could play a Breaker of Armies. Also good in this pack is an Ondu Rising, if we want to do that. I think a Breaker of Armies for the top end is probably where I want to go. Salvage is not a card I generally play. Smite the Monstrous is good, you know, if you're already in white and just need something for big threats. Swarm Surge is a good card if you have a bunch of creatures, which I just don't have. Ghostly Sentinels is good if we want to decide to try and push into white and do like a flyer theme. Or we could prioritize fixing and try and... We prioritize fixing and try and see what we can do with a white splash, or maybe it's more than a splash, maybe we'll just go 3 colors. I'd love to be able to go green, but I think if we're splashing we can only really go in one direction. So Skyline Cascade versus Sandstone Bridge. I mean, there's not really anything else here. I think the Skyrider Elf is the hardest thing to beat, so I'll probably go ahead and hate that out. This pack really has not much. There's like a million Skyline Cascades in this draft for some reason. Ondu Champion, I suppose. It's Champion versus Greathorn. I don't like playing the Greathorn. They're both 4-drops. I suppose I'd rather have the higher toughness, or I'm sorry, the higher power if I was picking between the two. But I don't know that it fits in that deck. Because there's nothing else here, and I don't really want to play a Waveling Elemental, I'm going to take the Devastator. Maybe it's the top end we were looking for. And the Stonewaker's on color, so sure, we'll take it. Kitesail Scout, okay. Not a card I ever play online, but I got beat by somebody who played 2 Kitesail Scouts at Star City Games Open in Denver this weekend. I just had for some reason, I had no way to interact with those cards. We'll take the Mortuary Mire. It's not getting played. I'll take the Island and the Plains. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't make it to day 2 with my standard deck, and probably because I don't play enough standard. The same list I was playing did finish 12th, I believe, but my record was a pathetic 1-5. And the only reason I kept playing to 5 was because Josh was doing quite well with his deck. So, all right. So, I would love to pick up a Blightherder. I think it's a great card, but I can't pass up a Rolling Thunder. Deathless Behemoth is also quite good. I don't want the Devastator. I would love to have the Clutch Occurrence, but I don't think we'll see that back. And I'm passing a Stone Fury as well. But we can't pass the Rolling Thunder, it's just too good. Oran Reef Hydra. Yep, that's a good card as well. So if we do splash white, do we want to... First of all, do we want to splash white? And second, do we want a Royal Spout? I mean, if we're splashing white, we definitely want a Royal Spout. Could just pick up an Invoker. I guess Invoker's really our only other option here. We could pick up the Pilgrim's Eye, I suppose. But if I'm picking up a Pilgrim's Eye, I might as well pick up something with some real power, like a Royal Spout. I see no fixing here. That's a tough call. Probably the Invoker's the safest choice. I'll go ahead and pick that. Oh, second Nettle Drone versus Turn Against. Of course, 2 cards I want in the same pack. Also a Sheer Drop. But I will take the Nettle Drone. It's just too much power. So I can also take here Spell Shrivel versus Ruin Processor. I think one Eldrazi is probably enough, and I'd rather make sure my deck is filled out. I'll take the Spell Shrivel. Here we have Hedron Archive versus Vestige of Emrakul. Unfortunately, not splashing black. Forerunner Slaughter's not going to make it. Nor is Dominator Drone. So the choice is between Hedron Archive and Vestige of Emrakul. Also Incubator Drone's a possibility. Hopefully I took enough of the white flyers that nobody's got a really good white-blue flyers deck. Gosh, this is a tough one. So of my creatures, how does the 3/4 body with trample stack up? Like, pretty well. Yeah, this is probably wrong. I feel like I should take the Hedron Archive, but I really need creatures. Oh, wow. There's another Hedron Archive, of course. Yeah, we'll take the Clutch Occurrence, though. That's a difficult card to beat. Oh, Sentinel versus Vestige of Emrakul. Sentinel just gives us a bunch of time. Processor Assault. Let's see. So other than like counter spells, we're really not ingesting hardly anything. Touch of the Void, and it exiles a card. That's pretty much it. I feel like we need, well, we have a Vestige of Emrakul. I'll take a third Kozilek Sentinel. I don't want another Eldrazi Devastator. I think one is fine. I wish I had more ways to ingest, but it's possible that I still play a Merc Strider. Not much here that I'm really interested in. I don't want a second Devastator. I suppose I'll take the Retreat. I could see a position where we might want to play that. Only card for our deck here is Sure Strike. Blighted Fen we probably won't be able to activate, so not much here that I'm interested in. I guess we'll take another Kite Sail Scout. I might have been better off just taking a land there. So we have some cuts to make, but the deck doesn't look too bad. The only thing I'm really worried about is how we're getting in for damage. The Nettle Drones, if we're able to take care of enough threats, can get in. Kozilek's Channeler's a decent body. I don't think I play a Warpaint here. Not really into a Mindraker, but whatever. We'll take probably the Earthen Arms is a card that would actually maybe see play in someone's deck. I'll take the Island and the Swamp. I like the full art lands online. I've been trying to get as many as possible. So Sure Strike in this deck is more like a combat trick that is like pseudo removal, because we'd probably use it defensively. We have very little we can do against flyers, so except for like Stone Fury and Rolling Thunder, so that's kind of going to be our defense and our Touch of the Void against flyers, and then Sure Strike for something on the ground, and then we can buy ourselves time with Clutch Occurrence or create some Awakened Lands. We need to make 2 cuts. I think probably I cut the Anticipate. Tempted to cut the the Sure Strike as well. But it's sort of our only combat trick. I think we could add a pretty decent green-blue deck as well. I'd like to see more than one of these Skyrider Elves, so I'm going to play green-blue or Converge. And I think the Stonewaker, while it's a good card, it's just not going to fit in this shell very well. So we do have the ability to bring back our Stone Furies or Rolling Thunder, well, anything really. But our only means of egestion is really the Mist Intruder, and then spells for Rolling or Touch of the Void, or Horribly Awry. Other than that, we're not really going to get anything in the into exile. Oh, what the heck, I guess I could play both Scowling Cascade, since that's pretty much all we're going to be doing. For tap lands will be the 2. So, one more cut. I'm super tempted to take the Sure Strike out, but I know I will regret that. I can see cutting the ally. Go 13 creatures, 9 spells. Add both Skyline Cascade. And it wants us to go 10-6. And it's primarily balancing the 10 so highly because of the 3 double-costed spells. But early on we are pretty heavy red as well. So I think probably... I think I'm going to go 9-7, since we have the 2 Skyline Cascades. I'll go ahead and submit that. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been Doug with Basement Level Magic, and I will catch you back here for round 1.